This video will be about my experiences on DMT. So as I said in my prior video, I actually had the experience to work at a psychedelic dispensary that was actually controlled by a wizard, and these people worked for the Illuminati. Essentially, there was like witches, warlocks, and wizards who were teaching the Kabbalistic, like one world, we are all one, we are all a god. And essentially, I learned all about magic and energy there, and about the occult, and about like how real the occult is, how real like tarot card reading is, how real like curses and witchcraft is. And I left that place because I was like, fuck these evil ass people. But essentially, I learned a lot about the psychedelics, and psychedelics are natural tools that actually break the veil between the reality and the spiritual realm. And basically, dimethyltryptamine is one of the most interesting things I've ever taken in my life. And I'll tell you some of the stories that I've had while I was working there. So while I was there, we sold powder and vape cartridges. And essentially, you need about 10 milligrams to 20 to get like a good trip. You need about 40 to 50 to break through. And you'll be taking huffs and holding it. But if you do the powder, just one big like bong thing would make you break through, but it's super powerful. And essentially it's not recommended unless you've done like magic mushrooms, etc. It's always like magic mushrooms, acid, then maybe peyote, but DMT could be just there too. I'm always surprised when someone's like, I just did DMT the first time and they didn't do mushrooms. But I think I heard that one time, but I heard thousands of customer stories, and basically I learned about a lot about what it does. Essentially, dimethyltryptamine is something that's produced in the human body, in the pineal gland up here. And it's something that this system tries to block you from, to calcify by putting fluoride in our toothpaste and water. Fluoride is very toxic and poisonous. I actually use just a natural toothpaste that has tea tree oil. And I heard a story that toothpaste, you put it on a car and it can take the paint off. Yo, that's fucked, man. So I noticed that more I brushed when I was younger, I kept getting cavities. My teeth kept getting worse, and I kept using more toothpaste. And it's like I eventually realized, you know what? Fuck, it's the toothpaste. It's all the stuff that they're giving us. But essentially, how was I talking about toothpaste? Let me just think here. Sorry. Anyway, so DMT, right? Natural. Dimethyltryptamine. So it's produced in the body, right? So essentially, fluoride is trying to calcify this, and they put it in our drinking water too. And essentially, what I like to do in the morning is I turn on the tap and let it run for about a minute or two, a few minutes, to kind of push out that fluoride that they put in. They have only a limited amount they can put in, right? So then essentially they dump it in the morning or something. I'm assuming at specific times of the day, but I just let it flow for a bit and then I drink water. That's the best I could do. Canada has pretty good water, but they put it in all the fucking coffee and Tim Hortons and the donuts and shit, and it makes people like, they have like a glazed look, and they're just like, ugh. But essentially, this gland helps you connect spiritually to source, and source will guide you in your life, but the system will try to block it because they want you to follow the evil system that will bind you and imprison you and enslave you, and you'll be a puppet for the system, controlled. But basically, DMT, it actually activates your body. It actually starts healing your body, and essentially you can meet spiritual guides, angels, or even, I like to say, entities. Some of them I think are demons, but essentially you're in the spiritual realm and you're actually able to see it. Like all this stuff, you're in the spiritual realm. You're physically in it, but you're in like the astral realm. But essentially, dimethyltryptamine, you physically are gone. Like you're visually, like our eyes can see about, I always tell this to customers, like our eyes can see about 3% of the visible light spectrum. So there's about 97% we can't see. And essentially when I did this is the experiences I've had. So the first time I ever did it, I took a few hoots in my room, and essentially the wall changed, and it's like the wall turned to another color, and there was like this purple, almost like paint, shimmering down this green wall. And I saw like my furniture was started moving, and everything started changing into like a geometric shape. Like TVs started getting more square. I don't know how to explain that. Shapes got more defined, and essentially I could feel something in my room. And this is when I was living in a very toxic environment. There was something in my room, some entity, and it started vibing with me. We were having a vibe. And then I was like, okay, that was so fun. And I did it again right after. And essentially the same thing jumped in my body. And it started like controlling me and moving me. And I felt super uncomfortable. And I felt like, oh God, get the fuck out of my body. I'm never doing this shit again. And then eventually, I've done it many times after that though. Because first of all, I have fear, but I like to face it. And I want to learn everything about reality and spirituality. So I want to see, and I want to see more, but I want to be protected. So I always do some kind of prayer before I do this stuff. But essentially, other things I've experienced was that one time I did it, I literally, sometimes these spiritual entities, these angels, some of them are angels around me, they essentially will like try to fix my posture in that moment when I was having really bad posture. And right now I'm still working on it. It's connected to our breathing and our groundedness, but essentially this like entity was essentially pushing my body. I was sitting down in the park, so it was like pushing my posture upright, and essentially I was seeing super psychedelic patterns. Another time I did it in my house, and I just closed my eyes and I saw the most amazing fractals just appearing shapes in my mind. And I saw a sentence, it was saying, "Can't you see I can show you anything?" I think that was Source or God. Or maybe it was an entity, I don't know. Another time I was in my house, and I swear to God, I was in a fucking black hallway. It was like a black corridor, and there was these lights, strobe lights, like these white lights going like lines, it was a black hallway, pitch black, and there was like these lights, like 1, 2, and I was just on my knees because I feel sick, and I feel sick when I do it because I felt like in that time I had a lot of negative energy in my body, and it's like these entities were trying to take it out of me. Sometimes I would just start feeling sick, and the entity would just take me and put me in the garbage can, and I would just cough up like bad energy. But sometimes I feel like it was entities fucking with me. They were just like literally, sometimes I would still be conscious, and this entity would just hold me in the garbage. Like I couldn't move. I was literally like my nose in. I felt so sick I had to hold myself there. And I think I was around this evil guy who was a DMT fiend, and he liked to do 5-MeO DMT. It's a different type of DMT. 5-MeO is from a toad, but this is a synthetic variant one. And this one, it promotes the oneness, the monistic, oh, we are all one, we are all God. Essentially, it's a toxin from the frog, right? And essentially, you see like a white light. Most of the time, this is what it is. Essentially, you feel like Buddha, Jesus, the Illuminati, everyone in your past, everyone that hurt you, you forgive them all, you love them all, and let's just all be one, and you join the source. But essentially, I don't believe in that belief because I feel like it's a lie, it's a deception. And essentially, once I did that, I started analyzing that and breaking it down and saying, wait a second, Jesus Christ is the only way. Like every culture is right to some way, but there is one truth, and I think it's through Jesus Christ. And then essentially, he's the ultimate spirit guide. And essentially, this guy who I was with, he was a demon, and he essentially was like, yo, do it again. And I did it. And essentially, right after that, I just felt sick, and I laid on the ground. And essentially, because this entity, I started attacking me. This demon attacked me because I rejected the philosophy it was trying to teach me. Now, I prefer NN-DMT. This one is the one that grows in plants, and it's produced in our body. And essentially, I like that one because it's more visual, and it's different every time. The 5-MeO is usually the same every time. Well, fuck, unless you're doing. Actually, one guy told me it was different for him. He had something different experience, but. Now back to NN. So another time I did NN, I think I was with the same guy. We just came out of a casino, and I was walking the city, and we hit DMT, and literally the whole city turned into lights. Like everything was made of like rainbow light. The trees and everything. And I was walking, and the path ended right up to a building that's known. It's called Science World, and it's a giant ball in Vancouver. And it has all these beautiful lights lit up at the same time. It was like the perfect time to see it. And it was we were guided to walk that way and have that experience. And sometimes I feel like the entities, like the different places you are, you'll see different entities. You'll meet different entities. And it's like they let me kind of just walk with this person, but sometimes they'll come and put stuff in your mind. And now I'm going to tell you some things that happened to me. So one time, this entity started like controlling my body and making me move. When we're stressed, we move in a stressed pattern and we get wound up. But this one was unwinding me, and it was moving my feet and everything in an unwinding pattern, trying to help me with my posture and trying to help me with the issues I have internally that I've recently started coming to know about and fix. Now, another time, the most profound one I ever had was I literally saw face to face entity. It was actually scary to me. I was really scared, and essentially, I think the next time I'll do it, I'll have less fear, because I think I released a lot of fear that I've had in my life from childhood traumas, from narcissist demon people in my life that raised me. But essentially, what happened was that I saw, it was essentially an entity, and I feel like it was an angel, but it was an evil angel, and essentially it looked like a transformer, and it looked like it looked metal to me. He looked like a transformer from, when in the 90s, the 3D transformer ones, when they change into the robot form, and he had like a green almost like top part of his head and a fucking purple face, and his eyes, was it like purple head or green face, and his eyes were very distinct, and he came right up to me, like this close to me, and I literally did a hunt. It's like I said, it takes about 40 milligrams, but if you can do a powder, it's like instant. If you're doing that vape, you have to control it. It's like 10 seconds hold, breathe out, 10 seconds hold. This one was powder, so I just instantly was in the DMT world, and it was just like orange sky, different shapes in the sky, and I was just like, what the fuck? And then this entity just came out of nowhere into my face. I literally fell to the ground, and I was like, oh my god. And he was like, I was turning away, and he was like controlling me. He was like literally putting things in my mind, and he was like saying, you are God, you are everything, can't you see, you are God, you are God. And it's always the same monistic thing that is even happened on mushrooms, acid, mescaline, DMT, and it's always, and he's trying to attack me and put this in my mind because they know what I believe. They know I know truth, that I'm connected to source and I know truth, but they're always trying to deceive. And essentially the elites of the world, the Illuminati, have done advanced meditations by studying from the ancient Hinduism, right? That every religion from like Buddhism came from that. And essentially it teaches the same thing. And the Illuminati, they started doing psychedelics, and all these elites, they did psychedelics, and they came to the same conclusion that we are all one, we are all God, we are all connected, that it's an infinite cycle of birth, life, death, and reincarnation, and that we have to break the cycle to stop this, because it's an evil, perpetual cycle of experiencing and energy draining. But that's what the Illuminati is trying to do. They're trying to break the cycle. But I'm telling you, it's a lie. And that's why these entities are always trying to put this in my mind. And a lot of people who do DMT, it's not like giving you knowledge, but I think it's the intent too, what you're trying to get out of it. With all psychedelics, it's about intent. Like, do you want to have a fun experience? Do you want to heal? Do you want to learn knowledge about reality, right? Or do you want to have spiritual connection to source, right? That's all very important things, I think. Now, any other experiences on DMT? I'm just trying to think. That was the most profound one. And essentially, I saw like a sentence. It was like a sentence, and it was saying like, it was like a sentence that was basically, I've seen the sentence multiple times, and I tried to always write it down. And it essentially says, can't you see, like, it's a sense like everything happens for a reason. What goes around comes around. It's like a sentence of everything we've always heard growing up, because all of us have heard these sentences from different peoples, mostly our elders, growing up, but we don't take them into account. But essentially there's one sentence that sums up all reality, and it's like, the truth's always been in front of your face, something like that. Anyway, I hope this has helped anyone. God bless you. Peace. Oh, and also respect psychedelics. Respect them.